And welcome to the business case 3, which is targeted for the CTIO office. And some of the use cases we'll be considering here are strategic data-driven decision making for service operations, site acquisition strategy, business performance of the network view operations, capacity projection vis-a-vis is good. You'll be able to strategically know how to project for capacity and based on traffic growth, perceived traffic growth. Also help things like matrices and KPI, which is one of the things that was actually also in the CEO. Dynamic review of return on investment of his assets, of his network assets. A typical CTI will have really convinced the business that they need to expand to meet business needs, and he definitely wants to see return on some of his assets and how to strategically place them. Also, things like continuity and formulation, just to make sure the service availability and business is always up and running. So to this, we will just go straight up to Dist. And yeah, these are some of the features from a daily basis to some that are actually being aggregated real time to some, well, basically daily and sometimes in batch processes. So we might be interested. Okay, before we go into it, let's just quickly have a look at this little one that we have, which gives us the CTI's offers a very clear indication of how 3G networks are performing against 4G traffic, and you can actually see how it's performing. And we would see the blue spot here, like some of those blue spots here. You can zoom in, this light blue spot, and you can actually see how this is being affected. And you can decide to zoom in, and you can see how we get it in the same 4G. And what you can precisely see is that the 3G and 4G traffic are basically they basically have quite the same pattern. So let's group it. Yes. However, you will notice that there's a light shade of. Oh, sorry. By the way, you will be able to see the revenue per location. Around this area, it's lighter on for 4G networks than for the 3G. So we might want to actually have a good look at that. This region. Oh yes, and we can see, yes, we've got more revenue on this side. So there are more 4G revenue being made around this axis than this side. We could decide to move in and actually zoom in further. And yes. Well, quite the same pattern when you zoom into at this level. Okay, quite the same pattern. Let's zoom out. And we kind of noticed, sorry, let's take it out again. And we notice again that, okay, they have this part 3G and 4G networks are pretty the same, except around Jogo as well. It's a little different, a little bit of this shade here around the central northern part of the country. Yes, we see more. Although this task also has a it's pretty the same or more. So zoom in. 17, and we're in 16, 34. Quite okay. It's a little bit denser there. And as we move as well and zoom, we would see the patterns of also affecting the cell category. So they're pretty close together. That's why it's almost difficult to pretty close. With 3G definitely edging over 4G. That means the number of mobile more cell phones that support 3G, 4G networks still have more of those supporting feature phones than mobile networks. Although the gap is closing, so they can start egg those out to start planning in future as well for some of the sites that should need to go for 4G, 3G, because of the closed network, the closed gap between the 3G and 4G. You might be considering, acquiring new sites that are 4G than just or the hybrid of the two. So it's a pretty good stuff. So we can also check revenue by location, and you could also view that, okay, based on what is going on in the network, how should it respond? from its voice teleservice codes to USSD, how and the data, how well should he respond to acquiring equipment in his network? And you will see that a lot of traffic definitely goes on around the Cotonou side. So he knows how, maybe it's already saturated, maybe not. He would know how well to position new equipment for these areas. Pretty good stuff here. And he actually sees the revenue real time as these are being generated. Good stuff. So also, let's go back, definitely get more data. Okay, might be interested in, I think we'd seen some of this in earlier stuff. So we might be interested in some of his value-added services. How is this value-added services taking up his network? Well, he's looking at it and he can see that it's pretty doing a little bit below the KPI, just a little bit KPI. Okay. And you can see some other bundles availability they're doing very well, always available. So his engineers are really doing well to make sure that these particular value-added services are being maintained. And infrastructure-wise as well, heavy infrastructure into the bandwidth. This was something as well that was discussed within the CEO dashboard, and it's pretty the same stuff. So from there, he can, at a glance, he can help him. Dist has been able to showcase some very important stuff. He can plan his capacity and areas where he can go acquire new sites and what type of site, should it be hybrid or 4G or 3G. He's been able to see the performance of his network, and things like, so it's heavily helped him in this decision making. He's seeing the return of assets, 4G networks, investing in it in the current time has really been productive, and you can see he's really catching up with the 3G. So with this, we will be concluding this business case, and hope to see you in the next business case. That's business case 4. Thank you very much.